Today we're building a beautiful Western Red Cedar dining room table with matching benches. Now I love this design because it's so versatile. With the clean, streamlined design, you can have it indoors, it's totally chic and modern. Or because it's Western Red Cedar, which is naturally resistant to rot, decay, and insects, you can take it outdoors. Now, you've worked with a lot of Western Red Cedar before. Why do you like working with Western Red Cedar so much?
Because it's very forgiving. It's very soft, it's easy to cut, and it's very light, easy to move around.
Now we've got some bigger pieces here. The design calls for a 6x6. What is your #1 pro tip for cutting this type of wood?
Do it in 3 cuts, because this is bigger than the blade can cut. So I cut it once, do a quarter turn so I can line up with my previous cut it again, a quarter turn, and the final cut.
When it comes to fasteners, stainless steel screws are ideal for Western Red Cedar because it won't corrode or stain the wood, and it will keep your projects looking beautiful for decades to come. So we're almost finished the second bench here. Che, why did we start with the benches first as opposed to the table?
Well, it's the same design as the table, but smaller and simpler, so it's a good warm-up.
And what's your #1 pro tip for building the benches?
Keeping things square, having a flush surface to work on, and double-checking that things are still square before you drive the final screws.
Another thing you want to keep in mind, when you're working with a wood as beautiful as Western Red Cedar, you always want to store it properly, whether it's indoor or outdoor. And that means flat and off the ground. So we've just finished the frame for the table. It's a standard timber frame. Che, can you tell us a little bit about the notching process?
Notches are really easy to do with cedar. Just cut through it with the skill saw and break them out very easily.
Great, and what are we doing next?
We're going to bolt the legs in place. Just 2 bolts on each leg, and so that they can easily be removed for transport.
Not only does Western Red Cedar look, smell, and feel great, it's actually a green choice. It's totally renewable, it's biodegradable, and it's sourced from the most sustainably managed forests in the world. In fact, woods like Western Red Cedar leave the smallest environmental footprint compared to any other building material, so you can feel good about using Western Red Cedar. So we're almost done here. We've got the timber frame in, we've got all the fascia pieces installed, we've got the legs installed. What's next, Che?
Next is the final assembly of the tabletop. These notches will allow for a frame to hold it together so that it can be easily removed for transport and assembly.
Great, and so what's your pro tip for building the tabletop?
Get it all laid out precisely and then tack it in place from underneath with a few screws, and then you can lift it off onto a workbench to finish the rest.
Talk about wow factor. This table looks amazing, and because it's Western Red Cedar, we can just let it weather naturally, which will eventually turn into a beautiful silver patina. But if we were going to finish it, Real Cedar always recommends coating all 6 sides before installation. Now all we gotta do is decide whether we're gonna put this table indoors or outdoors. Che, as a builder, what do you like best about this design?
I like the simplicity, and I like having a detailed plan. It allowed me to give the supplier a specific order, and they've sent me lots of shorts.
Which means less cutting, less waste, and more savings.
That's always a good thing. For more detailed instructions, go to realcedar.com for free downloadable building plans.